Log back in as me.
Let me just open this in Firefox so I can see what's going on here. To make sure this is good. Volume off. Alright, looks like we are cool. So before I do that, let me just move that off to the side. So we are all solved. Tech issues are all out of the way, but we still have an open spot there. Welcome, guys, to our first little bit tech issue heavy, but we are here eventually on our first episode of the new season on the Exploding Dice channel. This is Out of the Abyss, which we will dive into in just a second. Unfortunately, as we ended our last season, we had some scheduling changes. Some things have been going on, but we are back with a mostly similar cast, of players, but definitely different characters and different settings. So as we put Jade Regent on the shelf to come back to it in the future, today we move into a different realm altogether.
A forgotten realm.
Yes, some would call them Forgotten Realms, in fact. So why don't we get started by going down the list and having everyone introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the character that you're playing. The character that you will be bringing to this new season of D&D. So we'll start right over here with Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I will be playing Gen. Gen is a rat folk. He's an investigator. That's about all I know about Gen. But this is how he's going to talk, perhaps, maybe for the rest of this session.
All right. So,
very nice, Chris.
Gen, the rat folk. What about you, Eric?
Hi everyone. I'm Eric, and I will be playing Aurelio the Hugger, a Oread, man of stone, who is a monk who has decided to spread peace and love throughout the land by hugging people very tightly while his chest is covered with crystal spikes. So I think it'll go well.
All right, and on to our newest member, Jesse. Who are you, and what are you going to be playing?
Hey guys, Jesse. Yeah, that's me. I'm going to be playing Anzu, the Fey-blooded Kitsune sorcerer. I can't say I know a whole lot about him yet, but that's what this is all about.
Excited to find out more, right?
Creating the character, that's the most fun part. So, hope everybody enjoys him.
Yeah, everything is a little bit mysterious right now. I'm looking for an image to see if I can maybe cover up the. We'll use this one. This one's fine.
The fifth spot.
Is a big
Yes,
word for it.
the little spot here. I'm just gonna put a Mako there because why not? She'll be just hanging out in that fifth player spot for now. All right, so we have some interesting cast of characters, definitely different than what we saw in the Jade Regent game. So what has been going on? Well, you guys have unfortunately through various turns of events, through situations that maybe you couldn't control, unfavorable adventures gone wrong, this and that, you guys have all found yourselves prisoners, and that is sort of how you guys have been brought together. But we're here to find out what's exactly been leading you guys up to this this meeting how you guys sort of ended up in this cell together. So you all have a diverse backstory, but the first thing that I want to let you guys know is you are currently prisoners in a cavern. It's a big cavern. It looks a little bit like the image that you see before you. There are huge, just stalactite columns that come down from the ceiling, and they look like they're covered in these little purple lights, and they look like they've been hollowed out because you can clearly see doors and bridges connecting them. Off to one side, there is a waterfall that just pours down into the abyss below. And what you've learned is you are actually prisoners of the insidious and cunning Drow, a race of dark-skinned elves who have taken you all prisoner. You guys have no equipment because your equipment has been stripped from you. We're gonna go through, and first and foremost, we're gonna see exactly what your life has been like going up till now. So first we'll start with Gen. Gen, you have been here for 9 days total, so you've been here probably for a decent amount of time, which means you have been exposed to obviously all of the other people that you are imprisoned here with, at least a little bit, who we will go over in just a bit. But you've also been exposed to the work, the labor, and the punishment that the Drow kind of have been inflicting on you, because 9 days is a while to be here. However, absent your gear and stuff, you have not been idle, because in these 9 days, can you do me a favor and roll me 1d30, please? Alright. You, during these 9 days, you have managed to find yourself a companion in the form of a living spider about the size of a tarantula. Maybe you found this spider just kind of crawling across one of the walls or in a little alcove, and you fed him, a piece of your, like some of the stuff out of the soup that they give you, or maybe a bug that you caught. But this spider has now kind of been clinging to you for a little while, and you've grown a little bit attached to it. I don't know if you have a name for it, but maybe you do.
I do.
What is the name of your little spider?
Pokey.
Pokey. Okay. Pokey. So
Pokey.
yeah, you have been you've been kind of nurturing Pokey because you're not really sure why, but it's something to cling to in this prison as you dream of escape, and you probably, I don't know, you can tell us what you get up to with this spider as you're locked in the cell. However, Aurelio, you were brought in about the same time as Gen. You've been here pretty much the same length of time. However, your stay has been a little bit different because you being a bigger and stronger creature, you've been given a lot more heavy lifting, manual labor, that kind of thing. So go ahead and roll me a 1d30, please. Alright, so you have managed to, being that you're kind of attuned to the stone, as it is part of your body, and that is, you have a natural affinity for it, you managed to, in your work, pick up a large flint shard, which is, I don't know, it's about yay long. It's just kind of a sharpened spike of rock that perhaps could be used as a dagger or something. Obviously, it hasn't really been, you picked it up because it seemed useful. It hasn't been any use in undoing the metal manacles that keep you guys bound, but you do have this thing, and you kind of put it off, to the side on your person, just because you never know when this thing will be useful, being that it is pretty much the only thing you've managed to scavenge since your gear was taken away.
He's got a shiv.
And as we move on,
How nice! It's useless, but yay!
Anzu, you are actually the most recent arrival, brought in probably from a group of travelers that was caught near the entrance to a cave somewhere on the surface, and you've only recently arrived, which means you haven't really been exposed to most of the heavy labor and things that go on here. Though you have had a little time to become introduced to some of the people who you share a cell with. Go ahead and roll me a 1d30, please. Alright, unfortunately, because your work has been minimal up till now, you have not managed to scavenge anything.
Dun dun dun.
Give me a second, I gotta find my thing.
Not even a spider.
That's what the magic fingers are for. It's cool.
That's right. You get a different type of pokey.
Sure, I can donate the shiv to him.
All right. So as you guys have been here for a little while and been kind of accumulating yourselves with various things, let me you would know so far, at least Aurelio and Gen, you would kind of there's this, you've been locked in this cavern with this cold, heavy weight of metal tight around your throat and your wrists, as that's where you're bound. Of course, as I mentioned, you're not alone. There are other prisoners that are trapped in here with you, in what appears to be some sort of Drow outpost that is far from the light of the sun. You don't really know how long you traveled to get here, or or where exactly you are. What you have learned, both of you have learned so far, is your captors appear to include a cruel and sadistic Drow priestess who calls herself Mistress Ilvara. And over the past several days...
Elvira?
Ilvara.
Sorry.
Over the past several days, you've actually, let me I don't want to do this alone, so... Alright, so over the past several days, you've met her a couple times. She's passed by the cells, or you've seen her during your work. She's kind of robed in these silken garments, and almost always flanked by two male drow, one of whom has a massive scars along one side of his face and neck. Mistress Ilvara likes to impress her will upon you guys, the ones who have been here the longest, with her sort of scourge whip. It's many flails and barbed hooks in it, that she uses to remind you that you are basically now her prisoners and her property. Accept your fate, learn to obey, and you may survive. Her words echo in your memory, even as the days go on and you think about what you might do to escape. So as this has been going on, the day is dawning. Well, you don't know what time it is, but you've all sort of returned from various work details, which they are detailed here. I don't know. You've all returned from various work details. You guys have been worked in various ways. The labor is very hard. You kind of are always divided into three roughly equal-sized groups and put to work for about a third of the day, supervised by these things called quaggoths, as you've heard them referred to. They are big, probably about 7 foot tall humanoid creatures that hunch over sort like a gorilla, and they're covered in this pale blue fur with rows and rows of sharp teeth. You see them all over the place. They kind of attend to a lot of the menial tasks of keeping this outpost running, including filling water barrels at the waterfall nearby, or operating the lift that you've passed a few times. So you guys may have worked together, supervised by the Quaggas or so. The Drow and the Quaggas are both cruel and not very forgiving. And at night, when you get back from your work, your sleep is troubled and fitful, filled with all kinds of strange dreams and disturbing images, which we may talk about later. But for now, you guys have all been returned to your cell, which is over here. And I should grab the player tokens while I'm doing this. So as you are pushed back into your cell, you notice, you know some of the people that you are interned with. You may want to zoom in all the way. This is a very big map, so.
I don't see anything on the screen, it's just black.
Oh, because you don't have sight. That's right, yeah. Give me 1 second. Has sight.
Give me sight.
Do any of you have dark vision, by the way?
I do.
I do.
Okay. Then I will give Gen 60 feet of dark vision.
The best vision.
And you. 60 feet of dark vision. Alright, so you guys are sort of just deposited back into your cell, as well as the rest of the teams that are with you. I'll just run down the list real quick, and then I will leave you guys to decide how you want to interact with the people that you are put back into the cell with, that you've grown to know, mostly Gen and Aurelio. You know there is a female dwarf named oh god, her name slipped my mind. Eldith. A female dwarf named Eldith. There is actually a Quaggoth in this cell. You know he makes every attempt to stand upright, and he has a habit of speaking Elven. As well, there is a Darrow with a long white beard. Darrow are sort of these crazy, insane gnome-ish types that live in the deep. There's also a blue-skinned halfling. There is a half-orc he's very kind of a bully. There is a Drow who likes to keep off in the corner of his cell, in the cell, doesn't really interact with anyone. And then there is a I believe he's a Kuatoa. Yes, he's a Kuatoa, an aquatic creature, who has become friend. He very corpulent, very fat, and he's become friends with a walking mushroom, basically. So you guys are shoved back into the cell. Is it? Yeah, that's on the wrong layer. By the Drow, some of the Drow warriors from your hard days of work. You know that dinner, your feed will be coming sometime soon, but for now it's basically just the same as every day. You're just locked in this cell. What would you like to do?
I'm going to pet my spider.
It's completely dark in the room?
No, there is actually, let me see if what you can see here. Oh.
I have low light, but not dark vision.
I may have made a mistake in not making all players see the light. There are these glowing, sort of flickering firelights around the cavern, and I just made the mistake of not setting them so you guys can see them.
All right.
You should be able to see now.
So, one question.
Yes.
So, do the guard, given I've been here for 9 days, I probably have some sense of what the guard's walking pattern is around here.
Okay, so you wanna see if you if you know anything about how the guards operate.
They make patrols. Do they ever get? Do I know perhaps which one might have the key to the door, and do they ever get close to the door?
Okay, you know that there is that the fort or the hideout is made up of different people. You know that Mr. Silvara is in charge, and you know that she has 2 men that accompany her. One of them who is they both kind of fight for her attention, but one of them is clearly her consort, her lover, and that's the one that is without the scars. The one that is with the scars apparently seems to be a slightly lower rank on the poll from what you've observed, because he's usually the one that is sent to sort of deliver your food once per day. But other than that, there are other warriors and priests in the area. They just they don't really patrol all that much.
And so when they deliver food or
Mm-hmm.
things along those lines, would the person delivering it have a key to the door, or does he just like throw it through a slot?
Yeah, there is a kind of like he does hand out the bowls through a gap in the bars, but there are you've seen a few Drow operate the door. Like usually when you're the higher ranking one will lead you back to the cell, and he'll usually be flanked by 1 or 2 of the Drow warriors that kind of live in this outpost.
Right.
So you said that it's the lower rank Drow guy that's bringing us our food, right?
Yeah, usually.
Is he by himself, like separated from Ilvara and the other guy?
Sometimes.
Is he receptive to conversation?
You haven't tried. Well, you may have tried originally. You may. Well, is that something you would have tried when you first got here?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If I had tried, would he have shown himself to be receptive?
Probably not. Though, actually, go ahead and roll me a diplomacy check. We'll just see how well it's generally gone for you.
Okay.
Can I do the same?
Sure. Before you guys roll, can you just give me an example of specifically what you'd try and talk to him about, or how you'd try and approach him?
Initially, it would just be trying to make him sort of earn his trust, make him listen when I speak. I picture Anzu as being a very friendly talker, so it would start off as small talk, kind of trying to ignore the situation that he's in, cut the dreariness with a little bit of humor, that kind of thing.
Okay, so anything you'd specifically address him about, like any, or do you just want to sort of strike up a conversation with him whenever he passes by?
Yes, exactly. I'm just generally trying to get friendly with this guy.
Yeah, roll me a diplomacy check for that. What about you, Gen?
So Gen's a scholar and just generally interested in everything and all things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably be trying to pick his brain about more information about where we are, what the overall goals of this area are. Just nothing evasive, but just kind of a nerdy scholar kind of guy would be trying to figure out just information, just like, oh wow, so what do you guys eat, and what about all this work that we're doing? What's the overall goal? Like, what are we trying to do here? That type of thing.
Okay. So Anzo, you're just trying to, like, whenever he passes by, you're just trying to establish a rapport with him. Again, you're just kind of asking a lot of questions, basically.
Correct.
All right, go ahead and roll me diplomacy for that too. And we will
Let me just make
give you
sure.
And Aurelia is going to be approaching this completely differently.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second.
Let me just make sure I've got my crap together here. This one. To persuade others. Okay. So it's just a +3 then.
Okay. So Anzu, as you kind of it's only, you haven't had much time, so we'll actually get there in I'll address you a second. But again, you've kind of been picking at this guy with questions, as well as probably a few other of the Drow that come by. Most of them you've learned they're not particularly receptive, even though just question-wise, only because as you've realized, the Drow very much view you and everyone in this cell as sort of below them. They view themselves as kind of superior in almost every way, and that's definitely something you're learning about Drow society as you exist here. But some what you have managed to learn is you have managed to kind of pick up a little bit of information about the fact that one of the Drow recently, or used to be, the consort of Mistress Ilvara, and that is no longer the case. He has apparently been replaced, and he's not happy about that. It's actually also, Anzu, you learn, you kind of, as you sort of, as you've been wearing it, this guy, he, you see he always seems to be in a bad mood. He seems to resent the work that he's forced to do here. And he definitely tries, like, whenever you try and kind of, whenever he approaches, you just kind of come up to the bars and just give him some friendly chatter. You can see him making an effort to sort of resist it, because it's almost like, it's probably not like you're getting, like, he's considering being friendly with you, but it's more like he kind of resents the fact that he has to take care of you for the mistress. Like, you can see it on his face. And one of the times that you kind of were just trying to speak to him, you felt a large paw on your shoulder. What languages do you speak, by the way?
Just Common and Elven for the time being.
Okay. You hear a very deep rumbling voice. This will probably be the first day that you're here. A deep rumbling voice that does not sound like an elf, but it is speaking in Elven. And it says, why are you trying to make friends with our captors?
Well, I'd try to make friends with everyone. We could make friends with you if you weren't so scary looking.
Yeah, as you
scary looking.
Well, okay, so as you turn and you look, there's a big Quaggoth. You have seen them before. This one has his hand on your shoulder now. Big muscular arm. Like its shoulder could easily kind of reach, just grab your whole head. But he's sort of making an effort to stand upright. You can actually see there's sort of this, he has some ornate-ish brass jewelry and stuff going on that hasn't exactly been taken from him. It looks like it's just kind of stuck into his body. But he says, let me just get my page here. You've seen this guy, like, everyone in the pen seems to give this guy a very wide berth. But he says, well, it is good to find someone with some class in this place.
A man of class. I certainly wouldn't have taken you for it, but looks can be deceiving.
He says, what do you mean? I am, of course, Prince Darendel of the Elven Kingdoms.
Anzu immediately takes a full bow. Of course, Your Highness. I apologize. Foolhardy behavior.
He kind of, as he looks down, he scratches his head and he says, oh, right. I forget that I have been trapped in this form, this uncouth body.
What a tragedy, Your Highness. Is there anything that a loyal and humble servant can do for you?
He kind of tilts his head. He says, I appreciate that you show deference. It is refreshing. Perhaps when we are free of this place and I reclaim my throne, I will give you a place of honor in my court.
I'm humbled to hear you say so. And perhaps, if things go favorably, we will find ourselves free of this place sooner than later, Your Divine Highness.
He says, sooner surely I find myself slowly losing myself to the savagery of this form. Thank you. Oh my god, thank you, Hathron, for hitting that follow button. Thank you. Apparently, Hathron, a gentleman of many types, is all on board for Prince Darendel. So
there
as
you go.
as you've been you're talking to him, Gen, you of course learned a little bit about the what the hell is that?
Do what?
I hear some thumping in the background. I'm like, is that me? Is that someone playing music?
That's you.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing it.
So
I am not thumping.
No, none of us are currently thumping.
No.
All right. So that's you've met Prince Darendel. That was probably early in your captivity. However, Gen and Aurelio would probably do either of you speak Elvish?
Oh God, I speak so many languages.
Terran and Common.
Okay.
I do not.
Okay. If you
Common, Draconic, Dwarven, Orc, Undercommon.
Yeah, if you don't speak Elvish, you would know that you probably wouldn't know much about this particular Quaggoth in this pen, because he makes, whenever he talks, he likes talking in Elven. Again, as you kind of, after one of your sort of more successful questioning sessions, just sort of trying to learn where you are and what's going on around you, as you walk away from the bars, there's the dwarf woman who's been sitting there. She's just kind of been watching you. She says, "You're a persistent one, aren't you?"
I suppose you could say that. I love to study all the things, especially in this underground cavernous area that we find ourselves in currently.
She kind of, she looks around, she says, well, I'd rather not learn about it. I'd rather be free of it. Back in Gauntlgrim and all that. This is no place for a dwarf. Might be a place for a rat, I suppose.
Ignorance has never freed anyone from anything. To be unknowing of your surroundings is not going to set you free anytime soon.
This is like, I don't know. I'm like Casey Kasem, sort of talk box. So I'm gonna work on this voice.
You
You might start talking in Russian here pretty soon.
you kind of hear there's as you're exchanging words, there's a like peeking up from behind her is this bearded Darrow creature. It's this tiny little man with blue skin and these kind of wild white eyes, and he says, "Well, you seek knowledge too, yeah? Well, knowledge is my domain. It must be, of course. It is the domain of all of us gods, yes."
Did you say God?
Well, yes. And surely a scholar such as you are familiar with the deep god, Dinkarazan.
What deep god finds himself in captivity?
Well, such is the Such happens when you are reincarnated, I think.
I'm not so sure, but I would surely welcome the discussion further to determine whether or not you are truly one of the deities.
All part of the divine plan, yes. But surely, you all must wish to be free of this place. I have seen you here for many days. Yeah.
I am quite fortunate. Surely, I have been here for a long time, but someone of my statute and yours as well does not wind up with too much in the form of heavy manual labor.
He says, well, you were lucky then. Many of us here have been, oh shit. Sorry, I just got a message on that. I just didn't know what that is. It says, many of us here have had hard labor, like this one. And he kind of points up at the towering form of Aurelio.
What do you want, Darrow?
He says, no, nothing. Hard labor. Yes.
He certainly is hard, isn't he? It's kind of like moving his cousins around out there, chipping away at them and moving them around.
You continue to focus yourself on idle chatter when you could be doing something useful with yourself. Why haven't you been applying yourself to figuring out how to get out of here if you're so smart?
You figure that I haven't been doing exactly just that. I have already started to uncover certain plot lines that already weave themselves in and out of these places like the spider webs that they contain. Once I start to pull on the thread of these webs, the whole thing will come crashing down, and the spider itself will fall deep into the abyss as we skirtle our way on out of here.
You kind of,
after that, though, who knows?
As you guys are talking, you hear sort of a deep, bellowing voice echoing from the back of the cavern that says, please, this imprisonment is just a state of being. There is no reason for haste, nor rash action. And you kind of look over and you see this sort of corpulent fish man with these the kind of hanging jowls that ripple as he speaks, and he's just sort of sitting in the corner, just in a very meditative pose, next to this mushroom that's probably about 4 feet tall.
Is that the Kuatoa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you've heard his name mentioned before. You've heard him called Shushar.
I'm definitely a fan of the mushroom. Just putting that out there.
The mushroom actually kind of follows him around. Follows Shushar around. It kind of whenever it does, like, it's weird. It's like a big sort of mushroom cat, but the body comes down into like these two tiny little legs, and whenever it's left alone, you see it just sort of shaking there, like as if it's frightened. but it tends to follow Shushar around, and that apparently he doesn't mind at all.
Shushar, you may stay in here as often as you liked. I, however, do not intend to do so for forever. Maybe as long as I can in order to determine the purpose of this area and the surrounding areas and what I might face out there. After that, I am on my own.
He says,
I prefer a more practical approach to getting us out of here.
it is what it is. Who can say what end our path might eventually lead to? Perhaps we were meant to be here, which means perhaps we are meant to wait.
Can Anzu interject?
Yeah.
Shusho is his name, right?
Yep.
Good Shusho. Not all of us are long-lived peoples. Waiting it's not something that we all have the luxury of. Perhaps a small bit of haste can be encouraged.
He says, haste often leads to violence. Violence I cannot abide.
And I agree. I really do. It's not generally how I would choose to escape a situation such as this, but we are many in this cell. Do you not agree?
He kind of, you see a smile just kind of crack his big sort of jowly fish face. By the way, this is the person that you're talking to. And he says, we are many, but perhaps our destiny is simply to be together and enjoy one another's company. As he says, as he pats the sort of the myconid sprout, the mushroom next to him.
And your company is prime indeed. Though perhaps the surroundings could be more pleasant?
Shit, sorry, someone's sending me a message. He kind of just smiles. He says, you are welcome to take whatever action is most appealing to you. I cannot abide violence, though I would, of course, like, if I had the choice, I would see my old town on the Dark Lake.
Without leaving this cave, I'm afraid that's not much of an option.
He says, I cannot abide violence. If there is escape to be had, and my path is to leave this place, I would gladly return to Slubadop and share my enlightenment with my fellow Kotoa. But for now, I reside. He kind of exhales and returns to his sort of meditative pose.
Gen's gonna step up again, and I'm gonna try and persuade him with a diplomacy check.
Persuade him to do what?
I'm going to persuade him to take a bit more of a proactive role in trying to figure out a way out of here non-violently.
Sure. How do you want to do that?
Well, I was gonna do it in talk, but in addition with a diplomacy role to persuade.
So go ahead and preach to him.
Good sir, you sure. It would be wise of us if we are willing to leave here on our own 2 feet or on our own mushroom stump, then perhaps we could, take a more proactive approach in seeking out our ways of escape. As our friend here, the new one, Ensu, I believe it is, as he says, we cannot make it any further with non-action. So perhaps you may help us in our search for a non-violent retreat.
He says, I am glad you appreciate my enlightenment, for I have striven to rise above the madness of my people. If there is non-violent ways of escape to be had, I would gladly lend my awakened mind to assisting.
But what about seeking out such a solution? Certainly one of your stature and mindset could help us find an option on our way out.
Let's not be hasty. We are still in this cell, and we still... And he kind of holds up his hands. He says, we are still manacled.
That is true, but we all do our work. We might be able to slip out while we work. I do not know what the solution is, but certainly if there are more than one or two of us looking for a way out, more brains means more options.
So, before we kind of delve into a little bit more, do any of you are any of you magic users?
Just
What was that?
magic to what degree?
Are any of you sort of magic users?
Um,
I'm assuming the rock person is not a magic user.
And I'm alchemy, but that's not technically magic either,
Okay.
I guess, unless you consider it magic. But we have a sorcerer.
I missed something. What was the question?
Are you a magic user?
No, I am a meat popsicle.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm a sorcerer. I'm a magic user. What's up?
All right. So, Anzu, because even though you do have a magical focus of some sort, I don't know what yours is particularly, but it was probably taken from you with your gear along with your spell book. Being a sorcerer, you do have some sort of innate magic.
Well, I do have.
not hearing anything.
Yeah, I think you just went mute.
I do have SKU materials. I
Oh.
can if
All right. Are you good now? You went robotic for a second.
magically thing. I mean, well, all the video's gone. Am I still robotic?
No, it sounds like you're good now.
Okay. All the video is gone though, so that's let me reload.
Yeah, you may have to
Roll20
reload
and see what happens.
that. I heard you had eschew materials though, right?
Correct.
All right. Let me just check that real quick. I just want to make sure. I want to see what specifically that takes away.
It's a 1 gold piece limit. I can take more materials on.
Yeah, no, I know. I want to make sure. I just want to make sure. You can cast any spell with a material component without needing that component. I believe you. Do you still have as a sorcerer? Do you have a magical focus, like a spell book?
No, it's all internal.
Okay, so
Right.
then, being that you can kind of just cast magic spells, just from the innate sorcery in your bloodline. One of the things you probably would have learned early on is that there is some sort of anti-magic effect going on in the cell around you.
I assumed he just wouldn't have been trying to cast magic at the people who were surrounding him with sharp objects.
No, but you can still sense it. Like it's still just an innate thing.
All right. So, a couple of things that Aurelia would have been doing over this time period.
Mm-hmm.
So, first thing is, you know those, I've talked a couple of times about how he has crystal spikes on his chest.
Okay.
So those are called flesh gems, and they're an Oread thing. They're basically sort of the Oread equivalent of tattoos. They basically stick these type of crystals on them, and they'll grow on them. You can break them off and kind of hide them, and then they'll grow back because they're a living creature, a symbiotic creature on them.
Okay.
So what I would have been doing, since I've been having 9 days, is would have been sort of surreptitiously kind of breaking one off, maybe with one of the tools while I'm out and about, and sort of trying to build up a little bit of an arsenal for the other captives.
Yay, building
Kind of
ships.
the equivalent of armor spikes.
All right. So these are you want to break off some of the spiked flesh gems.
Yeah,
Let me. I'm
and
just trying to look at what they
kind
do.
of have them available for people to use as shields. Their functional equivalent is armor spikes.
All right. It says. Yeah, you do need to make a heal check for each one that you want to break off.
So I would have done like one a while back.
Okay,
What
yeah.
were the rules again on it?
It's you need to make a successful DC 15 heal check to avoid dealing 1d4 damage to the Oread if you want to break it off.
Right. So I would have slept off the damage already.
Okay. Let me see how many they. Does it say how fast they grow?
I think they said it was like.
Or did you just buy them as equipment?
I bought them as equipment.
Okay, so how many?
Well, you just buy one, and it counts as you wearing armor spikes. So, I mean, I think the
Alright,
narrative
Yeah,
purposes is there's multiple of them, but
yeah. I mean, I'll say like so you wanted to try and break these off so they're like spikes that each person can hold and use as a weapon.
I might have broken off like one or two. I'm thinking I'm a big guy. I might have like 8 or so. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
reference.
That's
I'll
what I'm
break
saying.
off like one or two of them.
If you wanted to sort of break them off as things that you could arm the rest of the prisoners with, that's fine. We'll say you can they're probably not all like big enough that you can hold in your hand. So let's check something real quick. You managed to get over the course of the 9 days 5 of them off total.
Woohoo!
Okay.
But once you've taken them off, they're going to take a while to grow back. Like it's not going to they're not going to be
we
back.
could say like a week or something like that. I would have to go back and look at the entry to see the exact time.
It says they grow back 1 week later.
Okay.
So you've managed to kind of break these off, maybe one per day, and hide them just in a corner, which, if you'd like, if you want to kind of be a little bit protective of, you can, or you can just sort of dole them out as you break them off to each person.
I think sort of as folk, and if I think they're on the up and up, I would have kind of passed them out because I didn't want sort of a situation where they might run across the whole cache and get all of them.
Okay.
So I suspect most of the folks in there probably have one at this point.
Okay, cool.
And the other thing he's been doing over the past couple days is I can do a perception check for you. He's been kind of making his, I guess, nest, sleeping mat, slowly getting it closer and closer to the side of the door where the lock is and where a guard would pass by, so that his goal is to see if he can basically grab one who has keys and then quickly just snap a neck or something.
Okay. So you, we'll say at least for the last couple days, you've just kind of been sitting up against the wall, like right at the edge of where the gate is kind of buried into the rock.
Right.
Just sort of spending time there, waiting for someone to come by. Just to fill you guys in, this past day, the last day that you most recently worked, obviously. I mentioned that there was the Drow who was kind of disfigured in the face. He's the one that's kind of been put on lower detail, and you heard him specifically muttering at one point about his wand that apparently he was forced to give to the other Drow. Apparently he had a wand that he was very fond of. You don't really know anything about it. You just heard him muttering about it. You also most recently heard some Drow at the outpost as you guys were working mentioning that in a matter of days there's going to be a contingent from Menzo Berenzin to take prisoners back to the Drow city.
Uh-oh.
We gotta get out quick.
Yeah, better get out before that happens.
So you guys have been sort of going around. You know, Aurelio, you've been kind of making your plans in the background. Again, you've been talking to the prisoners and trying to get them riled up a little bit, as well as Anzu, the newest addition. But as well, you guys, your sleep has been probably not Aurelio. Well, Aurelio may be affected a little bit less, but Gen particularly, your sleep has been disturbed of late. In over the last few days, sort of dark shadows seem to move and reach out towards you as you sleep in your dreams, as you wander through like endless mazes of tunnels. You might be like you can feel other times you feel oily tentacles that kind of slide and brush up against you in the darkness, or the great buzzing and howling rising in a distance. You at least, you know, a few times you found yourself waking up in a cold sweat from these nightmares, just feeling as if something is out there in the unsettling dark of this chasm that you guys are looking out onto every day. But in this particular day, it's been a couple hours since your work ended, and you know that it is time for the guard to come and give you the food, which, as I mentioned, as he approaches alone with a pile of these small wooden bowls. Each of them, you know, is full of this sort of fungus broth of thin soup. Give me 1 second. So as he's approaching to sort of dole out the bowls of soup, who would be the closest one to him? Would that be Aurelio?
I think so.
Okay. As he's kind of standing at the gate of the pen, just looking. Let me get his token, because it is somewhere around here. As he's sort of standing at the gate of this pen, doling out the bowls to the people one by one, come up and take them, he kind of leans up against the bar and he looks around before whispering, "If I could give you the means to escape from here, would you take it?"
So much the most
Aurelio, you're the closest one, so you're really the only one that hears this.
Yes.
Yes. Why do you offer?
What's the catch?
As you answer, he kind of like straightens his back up and looks around just to make sure there's no one coming on any of the bridges or anything, and then he kind of leans in, grabbing one of the bars. He says, "I'm going to leave the gate of the pen unlocked, and then I'm going to go create a distraction as the guards change their shifts. There's an armory located in the chamber above the guard post. You can jump down into the webs below from there, and then over the edge into the pool. That's how you can make your escape."
Alright. Sorry, I was, like, roboted out for, like, the first half of that.
It sounds like we've got a plan here.
Long story short, we getting out.
There's an armory above the guard station, then we can jump down into the webs and then roll into the pool, and that's our escape.
So, how did we get to what was the first half about actually getting out of the pen?
He's just going to leave it open and then cause a distraction.
Okay. Man, I'll take it.
I knew I liked this guy. I knew it.
He
You always
doesn't.
trust a guy with scars.
He kind of as he straightens up, he says, "Ilvara deserves it after what she did to me." And then he's going to kind of, you see him kind of like there's just a quiet click as he turns, like puts a key into the lock and turns it, and then without really looking at you, he just kind of pulls the key out and walks away.
Did I just hear a click?
All right, move.
Are we rolling perception rolls, or is Aurelia going to tell us? How are we supposed to learn about this information?
I'm gonna. All right, I'll do a perception roll, just quick see if there's anyone else around, and I'm gonna quick come over and sort of huddle up and forward on all that info. So perception check to make sure there's no one else around who might have heard any of that.
It doesn't look like there's anyone around, though you can see a couple guards that are moving along a bridge over this way. They seem to be moving away from, like, they seem to be moving in this direction over here.
Okay.
And that bridge is a little bit above you. He himself went this way.
Okay. So I'm gonna go over, quickly relay that information in a very, very fast tone. Well, as fast as my low, gravelly, oriented voice will say it. And then, all right, well, holding up one of those, this is the time I gave you these for. Let's move. We don't want anyone catching us before we can make our escape or noticing that anything's amiss.
As you're talking, you hear a voice kind of coughing from the back of the room. It says, "You don't want to go into the water."
Can we pinpoint who said that?
What's up?
Drow.
Drow back here.
Yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to elaborate on there, friend?
He kind of puts a hand through his hair. You know that this guy is sullen, and he kind of keeps to himself, sort of rebuffing any attempt to talk to him. But he says, "There's an ooze, lives in the puddle, in the pool down below."
And then
Is there an alternative way out?
One second. To see what he knows. He says, "Yeah, if you follow if there's the North Passage, the West Passage, and the South Passage. The North is where leads to the road, or the tunnel, connecting to Menzaberns, and that's probably where they're going to be taking all of us. Blingdenstone's that way too. West Passage towards the Dark Lake. Big underground place. It'll lead you to a lot of different civilizations. South Passage is towards Gracklestew. It's the Durgar city."
Well, we certainly don't want to go to the Dwargars.
I'm going to.
Oh, sounds like our best bet is going to the lake.
You hear kind of the dwarven woman. She walks up to you. She says, "Actually, I think we may want to head to Gracklestew. They're not friendly there, but if you're in need of weapons and armor, there's not much, not anywhere else under the out of the reach of sunlight that you want to be."
Wouldn't they slay a dwarf like you on sight?
Yes. Possibly, but well, it's that. There's the Deep Gnome City, and then there's the Fish Village. It's not many choices.
Gen's going to turn back to the mysterious Drow and speak in Undercommon and say, "You mentioned that we shouldn't go down into the water. Are you not leaving with us?"
He says, "Of course I'm getting out of here at any opportunity. I just, well, personally, I don't care what happens to you as long as I don't end up a sacrifice."
Understood.
All right. Well, time's ticking, folks. We need to move.
He says, "You can make a rush for the North Passage or the South Passage, or you can dive off take the lift down and dive off into the pool. There's a grey ooze down there. It feeds on the waste and things they dump down the sides. You may be able to get past it."
Anzu would like to pitch in and ask the mysterious dark elf where he plans on going.
He says, "It's a good question. I don't know. Maybe the Dark Lake. See where that leads me? Or back to Menzabaranzen. I can blend in there." Honestly, I
Do
don't
we
much...
know about the Dark Lake?
Sorry, what'd you say?
What do we know about the Dark Lake?
Give me a second. I have to look it up. So he kind of he says, "The Dark Lake is a network of underground rivers and tunnels and canals connect to many vast water-filled caverns. It's nearly hundreds of miles across, as far as I know. You can use it to reach lots of destinations down here in the Underdark. There's the eastern edge. There's Slubladop, Kuatoa village. There's also traversal to other places."
Then I would like to ask I forget his name, the froggy guy, our Kuatoa friend. Do you suppose that should we escape this place, you could navigate us to your homeland?
He kind of, you see a grin kind of crack across his face. He says, "Well, if we manage to make it to the waterways, I of course can take you to Slubladop. It's actually not very far from here. We'll reach that place before, on the edge of the lake. The edge of the lake closest to us."
And would we be safe there?
My people are not known for their sanity, but otherwise, it should be alright.
Then I vote for Slubladop.
I agree.
Though I would like to ask our princely elven friend his opinion as well.
Give me a second. Where is he? Darendil, there we go. So as kind of Darendil is just sort of sitting against the wall, he says, I would not mind traveling to see the world. But I, of course, would prefer most of all to return to the surface, into the kingdom of Narendrelvain, my home where That evil wizard Terrastor took my crown from me.
Well, preparation.
Sorry.
go ahead.
Never mind. We'll go later. And so, by the way, both you and Gen, as he's mentioned, you've never heard of that kingdom. So he says,
Noted.
but as long as we escape this place, I do not mind where we go.
Then a little travel seems prudent. Allow this humble servant to escort his majesty at least as far as Slibly Dock.
You kind of you hear a voice chime in from the corner of the room and says, I bet you 10 gold you can't make it down into the bottom of the lake.
And where is that coming from?
That is, there's a tiny, there's a tiny gnome who you've all probably rebuffed his advances for conversation. He's a tiny little deep gnome who, he has a gambling problem. He tries to, like, whenever he's working with you, he tries to make everything in a bet. He says, yeah, 10 gold if you can make it through the lake to the other side.
Anzu loudly proclaims that he'll take that bet. Kind of boost morale in the cell.
Sareth, kind of, the drow, he kind of sighs. He says, well, they'll be changing shifts soon. If you want to try and jump off the edge into the webs and get down to the lake, I'd suggest you go now.
With haste.
I'm not sure I'm much for swimming. I'd rather take my chances in the tunnels. I'm not sure my rock friend over here, Mr. Huggin Stuff, I'm not sure he's going to want to swim either.
It is certainly not my forte.
But can you do it?
Maybe, but
I fear it will do us no
prove
good.
the aphorism right.
I fear it will do us no good to escape this dungeon if we cannot find our way to the surface.
Well, we could certainly go to the Dwarven Fortress. That was through the North Tunnel, right?
Again? Certainly.
To Gauntlgrim?
Yeah. I have
And-
friends there. I have friends.
Friends who will likely imprison us, or worse, kill us on sight.
Oh.
For the record, based on where you were captured, you're not exactly sure of your precise position, but Gauntlgrim is a ways away. It's at least across the Dark Lake, and then travel on the other side.
So, yeah, lost.
No.
So the you kind of all of a sudden you hear some sort of commotion coming from echoing from the chamber to the north of you.
All right. Well, that's our sign. We need to move. So let's head to the lake, to the west. Move. And I'm kicking open the door because we only have so much time.
All right, you slam open the metal gate. Bear in mind, we'll go over that in a second. As you kind of shove your shoulder into this gate, it kind of swings wide, and you find the gate has been unlocked. You can just step right out.
Okay.
If you remember, the scarred dark elf was not there anymore. He told you that the armory, which is sort of located above the guard post being, I believe, the one directly across from you. Yeah. So the guard post is the one directly across from you. That's where you see the guards kind of go in and out of a lot. He said that if the armory, which is located above it, in that stalagmite structure, that's basically where you can jump down from.
All right. Well, we need to get these manacles off, and I'm willing to bet the guard post has the keys. So
Likely.
I'm thinking we rush the guard post.
Agreed.
Is anyone coming with us?
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Well, we will. Yeah, we'll see in just 1 second. So, what do you want to do? There is sort of a metal barred door. How do you you're clambering across this wooden bridge? Do you want to do anything to the door?
Is it locked? Is it open? What's going on?
It's not open.
I'm going to rush across and see if I can open it.
Like, hand open or slam into it?
If I'm going to try hand opening it first, and if it doesn't, then I'm going to slam into it.
Okay.
I'm going to go for the one that doesn't require a strength check first.
Okay. As you kind of grab this, your hands are manacled, so as you grab this door and you kind of pull, there's a clanking sound, like it's locked.
All right. Option 2.
All right. As the others rush across the bridge behind you, go ahead and give me a strength check to bash this thing open.
All right. So
these guys are right coming out of the cell with you at the moment. We'll see what happens after that. All right. So as you kind of back up and you just slam one of your stone shoulders into this metal door, it comes flying open, and you see inside of these guys. I gotta make their turns a little bit bigger. So, you find yourself like there are. Yeah, we'll just move that around. So. You find that the guard post is full of what looks like 3 different drow. They're currently in the process of putting on their armor. It looks like they're trying to respond to something, probably the commotion to the north. So you've busted and you've caught these guys like half-armed. Right. And because you just sort of slammed through the door, I think that is probably, like, they're all aware of you now. That is probably where we'll roll initiative.
Okay.
Where's my thing?
Let's see if this is any better.
What happened to my... There we go. And,
Okay.
Whoops. It didn't select my... Yeah, it did. Okay, good.
Let me put that there. Okay, so as we start at the top of the turn order, let me just move this over here. The one at the far end of the room is going to kind of see you, and he's going to hiss something in the Drow language of Undercommon.
Do I hear it?
Yeah. You kind of vaguely what you hear is kind of him shouting. What is this? Are we being attacked? As he kind of draws one of his swords from a short sword from the holster nearby, and is going to kind of rush up to the door and attempt to keep you back, Aurelio. So he is going to attack you with this rapier, and he gets a natural 20 to it's a 19 to hit. But a 7 does not confirm, so he's definitely gonna kind of jab you with this rapier for 4 damage.
All right, that hurts.
Yeah. All right, so that is his turn. The other warrior now he's actually not in his full armor. Like he hasn't put his armor on. So the warrior that's in the back, she's actually going to spend her whole turn putting on her full armor. As she kind of she's going to shout orders to these guys, saying like, "The prisoners are escaping! Drive them back over the bridge!" All right, Aurelio, how do you want to respond?
So I can't grapple because I'm stuck in a manacle, but fortunately, unarmed strike says it can be with any
Yeah, you
part
can
of the body. So I
can
can
batter
just
her with
elbow him, I can kick him, I can do all that. So
Yeah.
I am going to give him a sharp kick to the face.
All right, do it.
So, unarmed strike.
22 is definitely gonna hit.
All right, for 8 damage.
All right, this guy is a little bit back. So as you just kind of with both manacled hands, you just swing into him, sort of in a side chop. You slam into his stomach, and this drow, just because of the lack of armor, like the hit hits him squarely in the stomach with those rock arms, and he just flies back a foot or so, hitting into the wall and just kind of slumping there unconscious.
One down.
All right,
Look for the
is-
keys.
That's him. All right, that is Aurelio's turn. Do you want to move? Like, do you want to step past him into the room?
I will take a 5-foot step into the room so they can't block the door.
You got
for the
it.
rest of the folks.
All right, Gen, you are at the back of the bridge while all this is going down. What do you want to do?
Let's see here. Oops. I'm gonna attempt to stealth. Guess that's possible.
I mean, he is distracted by a giant rock-looking thing in his face.
It's true.
And you do have a dagger.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna maybe stealth and look for the keys.
So are you going to try searching that unconscious guy?
Yeah, or yeah, that's essentially the point, I guess. So I'm gonna. I think that was my 20. Or in here somewhere.
Give me 1 second. All right.
Sure.
So as you kind of you rush in, I'll let you kind of crouch behind Aurelio as he stands in this room. You want to rifle through the guards' pockets?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a perception check, please. Let me check that.
Is our map here to scale?
I mean, not really. Usually I use one with grids on it. This one I didn't, just because it was so big. So we're kind of playing it without. It should be. I mean, it should be somewhat accurate. You can kind of trust the ruler and that and whatnot. All right. So as you kind of pat down this guy, it looks like he wasn't really even fully geared up. So it doesn't look like he's carrying any keys of any sort. Other than the sword, this kind of short sword that he stabbed Aurelio with, he doesn't really have a whole lot on him. But you can see around the room there are a couple like weapons scattered around, like in holders or something like that. This apparently appears to be something like a guard post. There's a table in the center with chairs around that these guys were probably playing dice or something at before you barged in.
But no keys anywhere inside.
Not on this guy, no.
I guess can I just pick up the short sword that the guard had? Yeah, I'll just pick that up.
All right, Enzu. These guys have crowded into the room. You're kind of left on the bridge as some of the other prisoners make their way out of the door. What do you want to do?
You cast magic missile.
Into the darkness.
You're muted.
Okay. So I see two guys from where I'm standing, right? Looks like
Mhm.
two guys here, roughly.
You can see the one that's kind of getting changed at the far end of the room, just barely.
Okay. So if I move 5 feet, would that help at all? No, probably
I
not.
mean, if you get up sort of right up to the door, you could. I'll allow you to sort of target, but there is Aurelio's kind of currently blocking the door, like the exit to this room pretty heavily. It depends
Okay.
what you're trying to do.
Well, trying to target with magic. I don't even know if the spell's gonna work because you said I felt
Okay.
kind of suppressed, but I'm gonna try it. And I'm going to try to put this chickie here to just nap time, sleep spell.
Okay. So
Oh.
let me just check something real quick.
Did Drow have the elven immunity?
I'm checking a
I
couple
think they
things
do.
right now.
But I don't see why Anzu would know that, so I'm just kind of
Yeah.
trying to do what I'm doing.
I'm one of the things I'm checking is the cost of sleep, just to see if it fits under eschew materials, because I don't have a list offhand.
Oh, that's a good point. Components.
Yeah.
Pine, sand, rose petals,
yeah,
or
yeah.
live cricket, so it should be fine because it doesn't have any list.
All right. So as you kind of you throw yourself up against the door and you start conjuring, focusing, you finally feel the magic in your bloodline, like able to actually be controlled. Whereas in the cell, it felt like it was impeded a little bit, like something was holding it back. But as you kind of cast, you wrap sort of this enchantment around your hand, and as you shoot, kind of gesture towards the Drow, you see this cloud of haze swirling around its head, and the Drow just kind of shakes his head and like as if it's not really like it's trying to be affected, but then it just shrugs the effect off.
Well, at least it answered one question. All right, that's it for Anzu then.
All right. We this one here he has just managed to put on like a chain shirt. He probably had something else to go on top of it, but he's only got about half of his armor. He is going to stab at Aurelio for 8.
Which does not hit.
Yeah. So as he swings this short sword, you just kind of bring your hands up and it catches on the chain of the manacles, and he pulls it backwards. Alright, we're back at the top. This one is going to, let me check. Okay. Yeah, this one is going to finish putting on its armor, and then it is also, I believe, has a sword, right? Oh, no, she's gonna pull out her crossbow, her loaded hand crossbow, and attempt to shoot it at you, Anzu, because you are the one that she sees.
So it's the far one that just did that.
Yeah, the one at the far end of the room. That's an 18 against you.
You've been firing under cover.
That is a connect.
You're. Oh, let me check if she has the feat for that. Feats. Nope, she doesn't have the. I thought she had the. This was the crossbow one. No, she doesn't have. So it's just the 14.
Still connects.
Oh no!
You guys aren't wearing armor. Remember, your stuff got taken away. All right.
Yeah.
So the bolt slams into you. Can you, and as it kind of impales into your stomach, you feel all of a sudden it starts to tingle a little bit. I need you to roll me a fortitude save, please. All right.
Ouch.
You feel like a numbing sensation spreading out from the wound. And as she goes to reload her crossbow, she continues to shout orders to the other Drow, and she says, Hold them here while I alert the other guards. And she kind of edges her way towards this door over here. Aurelia, what do you want to do?
All right. He's going to go ahead and punch the guy next to him. So, another unarmed strike.
Okay.
And that was a nat 20. So
it's
I
not coming
will
up for me.
re-roll that for the damage.
Does anyone else see it? It didn't come up for me. Oh, there it is now. Okay.
Yeah, that came up late.
That is a nat 20. Unfortunately, a 6 does not confirm it, but you do kind of just slam your two hands into this guy, just kind of right in his head, and as his head just kind of bounces off the stone wall, and he slides down the wall, also unconscious. That's why. Roll 27 an issue. Okay, so as you kind of batter this guy out of the way, what do you want to do? It's just sort of the other drow in this room.
Let's see, I took a single standard action, so I have a move action left. I'm going to move next to the gal with the crossbow so that I'll have a attack of opportunity if she tries to reload or shoot.
I think she's trying to leave. You want to block the door?
You know what? I will do that too.
Okay, so you just kind of rush over and put your big kind of bulky rock form between her and the door. Again, what about you? You no longer have the cover of this there's a big dude in front of you.
I'm going to shout out to this drow.
You're not going to be able to escape past my rock friend here. Just tell us where the keys are for our manacles so we can get out of here. We're not going to cause any more harm. Everyone can live. We're just trying to get out of here.
And I'll roll a diplomacy check for that.
Sure.
That's +4 diplomacy, actually.
Alright, she's kind of in the middle of locking one of these bolts in, and you can see her kind of hesitate for a second as she kind of looks at, as Aurelia rushes up over to her, and she's kind of bringing her crossbow up to point it. When you shouted in Undercommon, right?
I was actually going to...
Or...
Were they speaking in...
Let me check.
I know that the one shouted in Undercommon, but like the announcement to like hold them off while I go.
Yeah,
alert. Was that in common or Undercommon?
Undercommon.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll say it in an Undercommon then.
Okay. She kind of freezes for a second. Not you can see kind of hesitation in her eyes. She's not really sure what to do, and we will find out what she does on her turn. However, as you guys are looking around, again, you can clearly see across from you at the far end, right over here, there is what appears to be a rope ladder that leads to a level above you.
Okay, up to the north there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move to this body, or this unconscious, and just search it.
Okay, he really doesn't have a whole lot on him. You can see right away he's got his chainmail shirt that he put on, that he clearly took off a rack. Let me see where the rest of his gear is. He's got that short sword, and not a whole lot else on him right now. It looks like he probably wasn't on like active duty, so he wasn't really decked out with gear.
Okay. I guess that's pretty much it for my turn there.
Okay. And Enzu, what about you?
Well, the sleep spell didn't work, so he's going to toss another one. Not sleep, but daze this time.
Okay.
Which does adhere to askew materials, and shoot at the will save.
Will save.
As long as she doesn't have more than fewer HD, or more than 4 HD.
The new one.
DC is 14.
She rolls a 6.
Okay, so then she is dazed.
All right. So as she's kind of hesitating for 1 second, you just lash out quickly with a spell, and all of a sudden you see her like just knocked back, her head knocked backwards, and she's just sitting there stunned for a second. Dazed, she cannot do anything for this round.
As in, not going to tell on anybody.
Yeah. So Aurelio, as she is kind of stuck in place, just like lolling there for a bit, what do you want to do?
I think this would be a perfect time for a massive smash to the head.
I told her she would live.
So, 15 to hit.
Only good draw's dead draw, right?
As she is armored up, a 15 is not enough. Well, no, let me see if Daze does
Penalty
something.
for day.
What's up? Give me 1 second. Daze. I have to check if it penalizes
Might remove
that.
Dex.
There's no penalty for AC on days.
Attackers get no special advantage against it. Yeah. So a 15 does not hit. So as you kind of you bring your hands down and you hit her, you just kind of she's not actively resisting you, but she just kind of weakly throws steps to the side, and your arms just collide with the wall loudly. Anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm just gonna stand there and make sure she doesn't get away.
All right. Gen, what about you?
I am going to... Oh, God. I guess I'm going to stealth and go up the rope ladder.
Okay. You kind of grasp the rope ladder and scurry up it. As you pull yourself up to the level above you, you find yourself in less of a, not really a guard room, more like a storage chamber. You can pretty easily see this is loaded out with enough equipment to outfit quite a few soldiers or guards. There are like chain shirts hanging on racks, as well as a couple of suits of studded leather armor. You can see shields off to one side, as well as a rack of crossbows. There's like a rack of swords and daggers, and kind of tables covered in other assorted gear here, as well as one kind of carven window.
But nothing, no keys that I can see.
Keys, no.
Okay.
Well, not right away. But there are tables covered in a lot of stuff, so who knows?
Do I see like a leather shirt?
Yeah, there are suits of studded leather armor.
Okay, I'll move to grab one of those, and I'll shout down to the team in common. There's armor and weapons up here. Armor and weapons.
All right. Anzu, what about you? So Gen he climbed up to the level above you, and that's where he's yelling down from.
Right. Has anybody searched the? Well, she's still just dazed, isn't she? She's not knocked out yet.
She hasn't been knocked out yet.
Okay. Well, I don't have much in the way of offensive capabilities, so I will call up to Gen. All clear?
All clear.
Then I'm going to go up the ladder and try to assist him in supplying the troops, as it were.
Alright, so you rush up the ladder behind him. Like I said, there's different kind of racks of gear. There's chain shirts, studded armor, shields, crossbows, swords. There's all kinds of stuff. The other people are kind of arriving at in the door of the room after you. It looks like they're kind of eager to make their way out. So as we go to the top of the round, I believe this person was dazed for 1 round. So she kind of comes to, and seeing all of you kind of rush up the ladder, she's going to take a step back and attempt to fire her crossbow at Eldrith, the woman, the girl who's running by. Because she doesn't... Aurelia, you don't necessarily look like a crossbow would do much against you. Alright, so she kind of ratchets her crossbow and shoots, just slamming into Eldrith's side as she's like, oh! As she grasps the rope ladder with the crossbow bolt embedded in her side, and the Drow woman now looks furious. Aurelia, what do you want to do?
Alright. 5-foot step. Punch her in the face again.
Ugh.
Successfully, though. These manacles just keep getting in my way.
I just want to hug her. Can't you just kind of wrap your arms around her and hug her?
I don't know. I'll ask Brian.
No, the manacles keep your hands pretty well together. They're also
He's got really long arms. He's big.
Alright. So, Aurelio, as you fail to slam into the female, again, you are upstairs. What do you want to do? You want to just help doling stuff out, or you want to search?
Well, after I've hopefully thrown a piece of leather armor on myself, I'm going to just start grabbing stuff and throwing it down the hole. So people don't have to necessarily come up to arm themselves.
Like, what kind of stuff? Just weapons, or...?
Weapons and armor, yeah. I mean, obviously, I probably can only grab one of each on my first go or whatever.
They're all coming up. So if you wanted to just grab sort of all of the short swords that are here and just sort of dole them out as the people come up the ladder, I'd let you do that. The armor is probably going to take they're probably going to have to sit around and equip it. So.
Sure. Okay.
All right. So you get the swords ready and you kind of start waiting to hand them out. Enzo, what about you?
You mentioned tables full of clutter.
Yeah, you want to check those out?
Yeah, would that take too long, or is that fine?
No, you can check them out. As you kind of move over to the nearest one, there are a couple bags that you pull one open. It looks like there are these twisted, spiked metal things. The bag is basically full of caltrops of some sort. There are also you can see 4 garden hose type coils of rope, as well as what look like 2 hand sledgehammers, and 2 bags of iron spikes.
Okay. Still nothing in the way of keys, though, huh?
No keys.
All right. I'm definitely gonna take one of those coils of rope.
Okay.
Just throw it over my shoulder. And then aside from that, I would like for Anzu to help Gen armor people if people need squirely assistance getting armor on or whatever. That's what Anzu's doing until he seems to be needed elsewhere.
Okay.
I mean, I hate to be this person, but how are you getting it on when you have the giant manacles on?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I haven't actually put armor on, I suppose.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, the armor. Most of the people would probably be better with the weapons. The armor you can definitely take with you, but putting it on now is going to be difficult.
Okay. Well, Anzu had no intention of wearing armor.
Yeah.
It messes with spells. But if it doesn't seem like a logical idea to put it on other people, then that's not what he would do. Well, instead, then I guess I'll have him head back down towards the floor below.
That's probably going to be difficult. There are people coming up the ladder.
Shit, you're right.
It's like a goddamn Everest.
There's a window.
There is a window.
What's outside the window?
You want to rush. So you have time once you've kind of rummaged through the stuff on the tables and grabbed this rope. You have about enough time left to sort of run up to the window and stick your head out. You see just sort of a vast cavern stretching out in front of you, and as you peer as far as you can down, you see sort of these shimmering, intertwining layers of spider webs that just crisscross this whole cavern and down into the dark.
And that's where we were told we could jump into, I presume?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Alright, so we are back at the top. Eldrith is she needs help getting up the ladder. The woman is going to sort of drop her crossbow and pull out her sword and swing it at Aurelio, because you have been swinging on her for a while. It's a 17 to hit you.
17 hits me.
Alright. She's going to hit you for 6 damage.
I really could use some help here.
I thought you had this taken care of. Damn it.
As you kind of she hits you, you see kind of barreling through the room this big Quaggoth form, and he kind of is like looking around, and he sees the Drow woman and like Aurelio kind of being attacked by her, and you see him just sort of rushing towards her. What do you want to do?
All right, again, punch her in the face. Hopefully, I will hit eventually.
Punch.
No.
Oh,
Not.
dear.
Unfortunately, that you've been kind of staggered. The lack of energy, and it must have been those breaking off all those crystals has kind of drained you a little bit, as you cannot manage to land a hit on her. Again, what about you?
Ugh,
So,
I can't get down because we got people coming up. Or can I? I'm small. Can I fit past them?
I'll let you jump. It's only about 10 feet. I'll let you jump down.
Okay. I'll jump down and kind of come up and try and stab this bitch
All right.
with the short sword that I'm holding in manacled hands.
Yeah.
Or hack. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it works.
You can get a pretty good slash with it. Go ahead and roll me an attack.
Alright. Oops. Just ignore the damage. I don't know what the damage would be.
That is an 18 for... It's 1d6 plus your strength bonus.
Yeah, I got no strength bonus and I'm small, so it's probably 1d4, I'm guessing.
Well, you're a small creature?
Yep. Rat folk are small.
Well, the sword is still 1d6, because it's a normal size short
Okay.
sword.
Alright, let me just roll you 2 1d6s then. Or just a 2d6, since I confirmed on the
Yeah.
crit.
Alright, as you kind of jump down and you rush over her with 2 hands on this blade, it's a little bit heavy for you, but you manage to jam it like right into her leg, just right between where the plates kind of meet, and you sink the blade like almost right down until you feel the hip bone, and she screams in pain.
And then I will say to her, yield and tell us where the keys are.
Alright.
In Undercommon. And that will, I don't know, you want to bluff or diplomacy on that?
Well, we'll get there in 1 second. Actually, that would probably be an intimidate. I don't think it would be a bluff.
Oh, my intimidate's shit.
Alright.
I'm not very intimidating, I'm small. I'm a small rat.
Enzu, you are leaning out this window, and the people are coming up into the room behind you. You're muted.
Dang it. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
I will start to signal them towards the window, getting them, ushering people out in the direction that we're trying to go.
The first one up seems to be that kind of loner drow as he rushes up, grabbing a dagger off the table and going up to the window. As he grabs the edge, he looks at you, he says, I suppose this is our fate now, and he's just gonna kind of like jump out the window.
Safe travels.
Eldith, the dwarf woman, is coming up the ladder behind you.
Okay.
Or she's
I'll,
just kind of hauling herself with one hand up onto onto this level. Her other hand is clutching her stomach where the crossbow bolt has pierced her.
And I will immediately offer assistance.
All right, you help pull her up. Bupido is coming up behind him, and then you we'll see after that. All right, so at zero, initiative 0, the Quaggoth, who claims he's an elf, is going to. You see him kind of like. He does not have any of the demeanor that he had back in the cell. He's just kind of barreling towards this drow woman, and he's just going to raise 2 hands. I have to actually check something because these guys have... Okay, yeah, cool. 1d20 plus that. That is a 19, which hits her. And he is going to do 6 damage as he clubs her right, with these caged hands just right in the side, and she smacks into the wall, winded for a second. You see him kind of growling again, all his composure gone, and now just sort of a mask of anger. He does not have that, so we will move on to the Bupido. Is kind of, you see this bearded Darrow, he's kind of waddling into the room, and he kind of looks up, he says, "Yes, I will climb up the ladder." And he kind of, as he's climbing, he looks over to you guys, Gen and Aurelia, and he says, "Are you having fun?" As he just waves to you as he climbs up the ladder. And behind him, you kind of hear this kind of clomping along on the wooden walkway as the very fat form of Shushar is just taking his time walking up. Also, you kind of, well, we'll get to there in 1 second. Whoever's closest to the window, so possibly Anzu, you hear like a roar, like kind of a bestial roar coming from the north. And you hear the sounds of drow shouting.
Is that the direction that the people are jumping in?
No, it's off, like, to one of the other directions you could have gone in.
Okay. Then he's just going to be more hurried. Come on, you guys, hurry up.
All right. At the top of the round, the drow is going to swing at the Quaggoth, who is kind of rushed up to her with ferocity. 23 to hit him for 3 damage. So his blade sinks into this this large furry form, and she's just stuck against the wall. Aurelio, what do you want to do?
I will swing uselessly yet again.
No, I think maybe it's time you went upstairs. All right, anything else after that?
Disengage.
Yeah, I will disengage and move over towards the stairs.
Attack
Okay.
opportunity, or are you just going to 5-foot step? Well, I guess she's...
I'll withdraw. Take withdrawal action.
Okay.
All right. Gen, what about you?
I will attempt to stab at her yet again.
A 23 is definitely going to hit for...
I gotta roll those
Yeah.
2d6s, or just 1d6.
Just 1d6.
Sorry.
Alright, for 5 damage, as you swing again and cut at her. She's kind of, she's got a couple wounds on her, and she's looking like she's in bad shape.
And then I will 5-foot step to be between her and the door.
Okay.
And that's it.
Anzu.
Do I make out what has made the roaring noise yet?
Nothing has come. Well, you can't. The only thing you can see out from where you are is here. I'll kind of show you what you can. sort of see out the window. Where is your character? It's somewhere here, right? You can kind of you can kind of see that the out of the window there's like the window is more on like on this side. You can see that there's like a vast cavern on the opposite side of you. There are the webs down below, and the roaring seems to be coming from up in this direction.
Okay.
And it's echoing, so it sounds like it's a decent distance away.
Okay. Well then, there's not much that I can do. Maybe. Nope. It's just a matter of getting everybody out at the moment. So I guess hurrying people along past turn.
All right. You're helping more people get ready to jump. Back at the top, she is going to attempt to turn around and swing at Gen, because you were the last one to hit her twice. It's a 20 to hit you for 3 damage.
Cool. Gen is dead. I'm just kidding. All right. Ouch.
And that's really all she can do. She's kind of pinned down to where she is right now. Aurelio, you wanted to make your way up the ladder?
Yeah.
All right, you climb up this way. After Bupido makes his way up, is you using your tall body, you just haul yourself up this creaking wooden ladder and into this room filled with weapons and things.
Perception check to see if I can spot anything akin to a key up there.
You'd have to spend time searching. Like the tables look like they've been pretty thoroughly like you can see a bunch of mishmash of things on the tables. The rest is just racks of weapons and armor. I mean, unless you plan on looking somewhere that they haven't.
All right. Well, I guess that was my action. Getting up there. So, getting up there. Let's see. Is everyone jumping out that window?
Only one person has. The rest are kind of either in the process of grabbing a sword and getting ready to, or it looks like they're attempting to get there. So.
All right. Well, I'll wait my turn and spend the time searching.
For what?
Weapons and armor are of no use to me, so I'm going to search for keys so I can start grappling people.
Okay. You find a lot of gear, caltrops, rope, hammers, iron spikes, no keys.
Wonderful. I'm sure it's on her.
Right. We have to hope, at least.
Yeah.
Right, Gen, it is your turn.
Okay. Do the old dirty again.
A 22 will hit, yeah.
Okay, D6. 3 damage.
All right, as you kind of shove your sword into your into kind of her side, as you've kind of flanked around her, she screams out in pain, one hand against the wall. She kind of sort of drops down to one knee, but she looks like she's still trying to hold on, but she is she's bleeding from a lot of different wounds. Anzu, you want to let the people go, or do you want to sort of dive off yourself?
Muted. I'll figure it out eventually. I promise.
We'll get there.
Yeah. I think I've got one more trick. I have dancing lights. I'm just checking the range on it real quick. Okay, so what I would like to do, let me clarify first. Is the reason I can't see further, is it because of the darkness, or is it because of like walls and such?
there's really not that much light out here. Like,
Okay, so
there's a couple glowing, like, fungus or flickering candle, like fires, but there's nothing that would illuminate the whole cavern.
okay, then I would like to cast dancing lights
All
and
right.
sort of propel them outward into the abyss there. I get 4 lights, all within 10 feet of each other. So out to my maximum range, about 100 feet, if at all possible. I want to put 4.
Wait, outwards or downwards?
I guess both, outwards and downwards. So I guess it'd be 50 feet in both directions.
Well, I'm
That's the
not.
best
What
way
do
to
you?
do
I
that?
don't know. I don't know what you're trying to illuminate. That's 50 feet from where you're standing right now. There's. I mean, you're in a cavern. You need to. You're headed downwards. So 50 feet away is just going to be
Yeah.
off in,
I was
in
just
the
a little torn
darkness.
because we've got this thing coming from one side. You said it's a little far away, so I guess I'll go straight down then.
Okay.
So down into the abyss that people are jumping in.
Let me torch that. All right, so you send your light down into the darkness, and it just kind of illuminates the shimmering surface of this lake that's probably a good 40 feet below you. More 40 feet below the web area, which is probably about 20 feet below you.
Okay. So that's a standard action. I will. Do people look like they're heading? They're almost ready and they're starting to head out.
Some of them are getting there, yeah.
Okay. Then I guess Anzu will leap.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Maybe clear the way for some people or something. Especially old Shushar, who seems to behoove violence.
All right. So as you leap down, you find yourself falling, and you for about 20 feet before you just plummet into this net of sticky spider webs that must have been made by something huge or a colony of some things. And as they catch your weight and sink and then pull you back up, you're stuck there. You're gonna kind of need some time to roll yourself off of these down into the water below, which is a pretty good drop. So
Okay.
you've jumped off. You're right there. Ish. Okay, he's down here. He's down and getting ready to leave. All right. So bottom of the round. Eldeth is gonna kind of take you see her, Aurelia, you see her kind of take a breath, holding onto one of these 100-foot ropes, and she just sort of jumps out the window and is gone. Bupido will sort of rush out, just screaming as he does, just hands in the air, "Ah!" as he flings himself out the window. No, that guy is out. And Shushar has just made it to the room, and he kind of looks around. He sees you guys fighting off on the side, Gen and the Prince Darrendal, and he says, "What are you doing? You know I don't approve of fighting."
I need to get the keys. I've given her plenty of opportunities to give us the key. We're not going to be much good with our hands manacled. Choose your own path, if you will, but this is our best path to exist.
She is going to take a slice at the Quaggoth, which she does hit solidly, does not confirm against him, but does just stab him in the flank. He is going to take his turn and respond by slamming her in the head. And two.
Roll 20 dice are generous tonight. except when it comes to Eric trying to hit somebody.
As he
Oh,
as
Punch, punch, punch. Miss, miss, miss.
all right,
Oh.
one second.
that's the reason why I'm. That's not what he's supposed to be doing.
Somebody's got to do it when Kyle's not here.
He's actually going to kind of, like, again, as you turn back, you see the Quaggoth grabbing one of her arms and kind of yanking her, and there's sort of a sound, like, a roar. As she screams in pain, you see a spurt of blood as he clamps down with his teeth on her, like, on her shoulder area.
Brutal.
And yeah,
Still up at him,
she's
huh?
not looking good after that. Like she's actually like you could probably let her go, and she'd most likely pass out from the blood loss at this point.
No. Problem is, we can't wait.
Aurelio, everyone has rushed past you out the window. Do you wanna go with them?
No, I really want my hands free before we drop down because I'm uncertain of my ability to swim. Period. And if I'm trying to do it while my hands are tied, that's not going to end well.
And then there's still Shushar, who hasn't gone out yet, right?
I'm gonna like stick my head down there. I was like, "Can you guys finish up already?"
You're the one that left.
You know what? Screw it. If you want something done right, you're gonna do it yourself.
That's
You
right.
gotta come down. Coming down the stairs. The ladder. So I'll end up at the bottom of the ladder.
Okay. Again, what about you?
I'm gonna try and kill this bitch.
All right.
Finish her off.
Yeah,
Draw.
you just shove the sword into her stomach and twist it, and she kind of gasps as the Quaggoth is holding her, like his teeth chomp down on her neck, as she bleeds, and her form just goes limp on your sword.
Gruesome.
All right, and I don't know if I can still. I'll try and search the corpse here
Okay.
for keys and anything else. For the love of God.
As you kind of you feel over her body, you can see that like there does seem to be a jingling ring with 2 keys on it that you can pull off. You're not sure what they go to, but it does have 2 keys on it. And just as you're pulling this off of her, you hear shouting coming from the other side of the door that you are next to, as voices seem to be rushing towards you.
Okay, well that was probably my 2 actions, so I don't.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck there for the minute. So she is out. All right, Anzu, you are on the web.
Yes, I would like to wriggle away from the web.
Okay, roll me an athletics check.
Oh, athletics.
Is that a thing?
Acrobatics?
Yeah, acrobatics is fine.
Acrobatics, yeah. That's not bad. Okay. Yeah. I will have all of my macros set up in this game. 14.
Okay, as you kind of you yank yourself free, like you just managed to pull yourself towards the edge of these webs, and you're kind of leaning over the side, but one of your feet is just kind of stuck in this tangle. And as you edge for it, you yank hard, and your foot just snaps free from these sticky webs, and you find yourself plummeting just in free fall.
Oh,
Fun.
It's probably like you're just falling into the darkness, the shimmering light passing, like whizzing by you, the one that you cast down here, and all of a sudden you find yourself splashing down into a cold, dark water. It's free, like ice cold.
Can I make out the direction of the shore?
Roll me a perception check.
Hey, my perception is so good.
Unfortunately, as you kind of struggle against the current, it is hard to know exactly where you are right now.
Okay, then and I'm underwater. Right
Yeah,
now?
for the time being, yeah.
Then straight up is the goal.
All right. The Drow is going to kind of deftly pull himself off the spider webs and take a running leap into the water as he splashes down a little bit farther from you. Boopido is actually going to fall through the webs, and Eldeth will spend her turn trying to get over to the edge. All right, we're at the top. This Drow is dead.
All right.
You see.
I'm going to.
Sorry. Again, you see the kind of the Quaggoth is now as he kind of tears at the body a little bit. You see him slowly calming down, but probably not fast enough. Aurelio, what do you want to do?
All that bloodlust.
I am going to step over, and then I'm going to try a key.
You don't have any keys.
You have them.
It's not my turn.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to hold them up right there, and it's like, all right, come on.
All right. Again, you want to use your turn to try and unlock him?
Yeah, I'll try and unlock the keys on Aurelia.
Yeah, as you try and fit the first one, it's not even close, but the second one, you fit it into sort of the manacles, and there's a faint click as the binding ring of the manacles comes undone. However, you're still wearing the manacles. There's just the thing that was linking them is no longer there. It's been unlinked.
I see. So the brace, the wristlets are still there, but the chain in between is.
The manacles basically consisted of like these metal bands. You have one around your neck and one around each hand, and they were kind of linked by a chain with a sort of a central ring that connected all three of them. And that was the only place that there was a lock. The others are hinged, but the lock seems different than this key.
Okay.
So wait, there are. So you're saying that there are locks for each one, or is it that there's a chain going through them, and you can just pull the chain out, and then you can get all of them all off?
So you have a thing on each wrist and a thing on your neck, and what you've experienced here is that the neck thing is linked by a chain to and the wrist, they're all kind of joined by a long chain to this in a center point, and the reason that the guards have a key is so that they can sort of unlink your wrist thing and then link you to the other prisoners. The actual manacles themselves, the key is probably on someone of higher rank.
Okay.
But for now, your arms are free.
All right.
You can grapple again.
Yay. Hands are free. So I effectively delayed an action because I waited for him.
I'll let you use the rest.
Can I use my action to? I mean, he's got the key. I can't really. Well, I'll take the key to unlock him.
I'll give you the key after I unlocked yours. I'll give you the key.
Yeah. So I'll use the key on his.
Okay. So you guys unlink each other, and then did you want to take? You don't want to spend some time move over towards the
In that case,
the ladder?
I'll move towards the ladder.
All right.
If
You see,
allow me time as well.
Shushar is kind of waddling over there as he says, "That was quite unseemly. Is this the way we are headed then? You attempt to traverse the lake below?"
That seems to be where everyone else is headed. I feel strength in numbers, but I am not entirely happy about it.
He puts his hands together. "Very well. We will travel to across the dark lake to Subladop, and I will guide you there." As he says, "Come, stool, come," and he waves his little waddling mushroom forwards. All right, so these guys are. You hear kind of as you get to the ladder, you guys can climb up it as you hear sort of a rattling against the door. That's the one that you were just up against again. Just as you guys get up into the top, the top floor. So you see, it's basically just you. Everyone else has dove out the window.
Okay. And the Quagga's still there.
Oh yeah, he's just kind of slinking after you.
Right. We still got to unhinge him too, as well, I suppose. All right. It's not. We're out of combat.
It seems like the other people haven't gotten in through the door, like the other door. You don't know how long that'll be.
Okay. Then I guess I'll use the key and unhinge the Quagga.
Alright. You hear you kind of he's kind of calming down. He says, these captors. I'm sorry. I lost myself for a minute.
It's okay. We're all on the same side here. We just need to get out.
He's gonna kind of grab you by the the back of the the fur on the back and kind of walk up to the window. He says, "Let's go!" And he jumps, like he grabs the edge of the window and is gonna jump out.
Can I slip out of his grasp?
Yeah, you can, but he seems to want to go.
No, I haven't looted everything yet. No.
What are you gonna take with you? You don't have anywhere to carry things. You can grab something on the table as you're going.
There's like a sack. Yeah, I want to grab like the caltrops and the sack and
you can grab
put on an armor. You know,
there's people coming in through the door below. There's no time to put on armor.
Yeah.
Kind of cut the rope. I can cut the rope.
Why would you cut rope?
Huh? I want to cut the rope so they can't get up into the second
ladder.
level.
Oh, the ladder. You can do. Okay, you can do one thing. You have time
I can choose one thing.
Well, you can't do all of these things at the same time.
No, certainly. While he's hauling me out the window.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean you can you can sort of he's gonna jump out the window. If you don't want to go with him, that's fine. But I'll let you do something before you go.
Okay. How thick is the rope ladder?
Depends what you're using to cut it with.
A short sword.
You could probably sever it with a solid chop.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try and do that.
Okay, so you as he's kind of rushing to the window, you just lean down and chop at the rope ladder, and you only manage to get one of the sides as it goes slack. There are two sides of the rope ladder. As you pass by, the ladder is now just sort of hanging by one side, and he kind of you see Shushar is making his way over to the window. He says, We have no time to delay.
We must arm ourselves. I must arm ourselves. We haven't done it. I don't know.
He says, there is no time for such things. They will be upon us if we delay anymore. Aurelia, what do you want to do?
I'm jumping out the window.
All right. You dive out, and
the webs break.
Yeah,
I think the web just tries to catch me, and then it's like, nope.
Nope.
Yeah, it's kind of as you just sort of leap out the window before the Quaggoth, you hit these webs, and they kind of sink down like 15 feet with the stretchiness of the webs, and as they hit their peak, you're not really sure which way it's going to go, and then they just snap, and you're plummeting the 40 feet down into the water below.
So it just slows me down a little bit, but not much.
Nah. The Quaggoth is going to kind of bound out the window, as it's just, again, you're just left with Shushar, as he's going to grab the Myconid stool and kind of put him over his shoulder and say, you spend as much time here with these weapons as you want. As he kind of climbs his fat form into the window and kind of teeters on the edge for a little while, as if he can't really decide what to do, like, or how to do this, and then he just sort of takes a step off and tumbles right out the window into the webs. As you're kind of snatching up a weapon, you hear a loud shrieking sound.
From below me?
No, it sounds like it's echoing through the cavern.
That's horrible. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and try and cut the other side of the rope ladder.
Okay.
And then, did I succeed?
Yeah, however, as you do, you hear kind of a crash and a bunch of voices fill the room below you, as it seems the Drow have gotten through on this side.
Alright. And then, I've already got the short sword in my hand. I'm gonna grab, none of the armor's even gonna fit me. That's kind of silly, isn't it?
So I just bear in mind, it's been like 15 seconds since everyone else left. You're the only one that's still here.
Oh, I know. That's fine. 15 seconds.
Well, I mean,
Right.
yeah, they're the only thing you hear is the sounds of the Drow filling this room, as well as the screeching that is now echoing pretty loud right outside the window.
Sure. Alright, I'm just gonna grab the little sack of caltrops and kind of tie it off
Okay.
at the waist or whatever I can do, and then I'll jump out the window.
Alright, so you grab the caltrops as you rush over. Anzu, you were one of the first to hit the water. As you kind of sink for a little bit, and it's you're kind of just trying to find your direction in this dark water, and after a while you kind of feel sort of like a static buzz in your ear, and then there's
You might want to mute yourself, Jesse.
yeah, please. There's kind of a static buzz in your ear, and there's a voice kind of just echoes, almost like right next, as if someone's speaking right next to you, and it says, "Flesh for the faceless lord."
Okay.
Well, that isn't sinister at all.
It sounds like it's coming from in my head or from right next to me. Or...
Well, you're underwater, so the fact that it's probably like you don't see anything immediately around you, so it's someone's probably not speaking to you, but you definitely hear it.
Right. Okay. That's terrifying. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry about the anime aspect.
All right. So as you guys are doing, you guys have all pretty much either hit the water at this point, and as you're kind of scrambling to find purchase. Let me just turn that down a little bit. As you're scrambling to find purchase in this cold running water, you eventually make your way to the surface, and you see. As you break the surface, you see in the illumination above, the Drow are still on the bridge about 60 feet above you, but you can see these shadowy forms that are just swooping out from the darkness and seem to be attacking the Drow.
Whoa.
It's helping us.
I don't think they're going to. I think we have mutual enemies. I don't think they're any way friends, though.
Doesn't mean we can't use them.
Let's see. Shushar will kind of be the first to kick his way over to the shore, and as he emerges, he says, "Be quick about it. There is a foul presence in this pool. I would not want any of you to be eaten."
Thanks for that.
All right, I would like to get out of there quickly.
Yeah, heading straight for shore if at all possible.
Yep.
All right. Can everyone roll me an or a swim check? Sorry, I keep forgetting. I'm not playing 5th edition. It's weird.
How is my swim check?
And my rolls continue. Wonderful.
Bye. No. Sorry.
All roll, not bad.
Give me a second. I just gotta check something. All right. So, Aurelia, you were kind of basically sinking straight down. The rest of you,
sinking like a stone.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool.
Enzo, you and Gen are able to kind of kick your way towards the against the current towards the opposite side fairly well. However, as some of the people are making their way with you, Aurelio, as you kind of as you are sinking down, you sort of feel something writhing against your leg.
All right. This isn't good.
Grab it and writhe on it.
Oozes are literally probably my worst possible opponent. So, anyways, let me know when I should make another skill roll.
Damn. Give me a second. So the as you sink down, let me check what this is exactly, just so I'm not doing. Okay. All right. As you sink down against it, it is going to attempt to grab your leg. What is your CMD?
Oh, my CMD is actually really high. Well, decently high. Let's see. I want to say it is 18. Actually, it might be 20.
It's, what is it, 20 or 18?
Trying to pull up 20.
20? Okay. It kind of, it wraps, it sort of attempts to, like, you feel it wrapping around your leg, but not quite tugging on it yet, but it definitely is sort of crawling up your leg, and you can definitely feel it is a fully, like, a kind of gelatinous sort of tugging kind of feeling. I will let you make a strength check to get away from it, or a swim check to try and swim away.
I mean, they're identical. Because it's just unmodified.
Okay. All right. So
there we go.
As you kind of push away from it, and you start kicking your way underwater towards sort of the light, you see some of the other forms are, like, eventually you manage to kind of, like, you feel the thing attempt to grasp at you, but it just manages to catch the edge of your foot, not getting a full hold. Everyone is pretty much at this point pulling themselves up on the shore, dragging themselves on the far shore. They're helping each other out. You can see the Quaggoth Darendil is in the process of hauling out the Drow, and the dwarf is sort of just hanging in the water, like, coughing and waterlogged. You guys, as you hear the screeches of things kind of fighting and swooping off in the distance overhead, you guys find yourself on the shore of this this pool, and as you pull yourselves towards the edge, you hear Shushar say, "Now we make our way for the West Passage, which will take us to the Dark Lake. Come quickly."
All right. So did I manage to get out, or do I need to do?
You
another
managed to
sprint?
get to the water's edge, yeah. Where kind of the rest of the people are. This guy, he is on top of him. So once you all pull yourself out, he is going to sort of lead you off across the way into a cavern, just this sort of natural rock cavern that leads into the darkness where there is no light. And
Yay, dark vision.
Is our feminine dwarf friend having like issues with
Living.
mobility?
she's kind of staggered a little bit, and the wound is causing her pain. Both your and her wounds are very numb, but whatever these weapons were coated with doesn't seem to have taken full effect yet.
Okay, that doesn't sound good.
So as you guys make your way towards this darkened cavern, you kind of eventually you push off into an area where it's dark, and you're away from the lake and from the screeching sounds, and you all kind of stop to catch your breath. And the Shushar says, "Oh, that was quite an experience."
At least we're out.
Yeah.
You hear kind of the dwarf. She says, "Right, so have we decided which way we're going to head?" I don't. You said you wanted to head across the lake, did you?
Well, the kind Shushar has offered to guide us to a place of safety.
She says, I'm unfamiliar with this region of the Underdark. I know a little bit, but not this place. But I am fairly good at finding my way, so should we need to travel, I can assist there."
Glad for your skills then.
The Shushar says, I can lead you to. I can navigate through the Dark Lake once we arrive closer, and of course I would suggest we visit Slublodup, my former city, where we could perhaps acquire boats to make our travel more expeditious.
This sounds like a sound plan, so long as it's a safe one.
He says,
Yeah.
Safe is a relative term. If it's not too much trouble, and he kind of pats the Myconid with the two little feet. He says, Stool here, but I believe he desperately wants to return to his home, Neverlight Grove. It is on the far end of the Dark Lake.
Would this be a good time to bring up the background, the Underdark background that I chose?
Sure. Which one?
The Myconid, the one where he is interested in re-experiencing the merging with the Myconid.
Sure. Let me find the table here. I know it's here somewhere.
Because if it means that, he's going to get to go and hang out with a bunch of them and maybe get to re-experience that, I'm sure that Ansu would be more than happy to accommodate.
So you're talking about number 2, right? So yeah, you would know that you in your travels in the past you met a group of Myconids. They're sort of animated fungus people. And You know that they're kind of they're very accommodating people. They don't really speak many languages. They're kind of quiet, but they use they use telepathy and spores to communicate. And when at the mention of Neverlight Grove, which is apparent, you assume that that's probably a sanctuary for myconids of some description. And if that place is anything like what you experienced in your past, it would probably be a welcoming place at the very least.
Right. So then Ansu would respond kindly that so long as the oh man, I can't remember his name. The big blue guy. Help me out.
Which blue guy?
Doldorian?
Prince Darendel.
Darendel, thank you. So long as Prince Darendel is willing to make the side trip, that he certainly is as well.
You hear kind of Boopido chime up. He says, I can perhaps find a way to grapple stuff from the Dark Lake. Of course, that is where you want to go if you want to acquire better equipment, yes. So, I suggest we go to the Dark Lake.
Sounds good to me.
I agree.
In general, the Dark Lake seems like a good place. Huh?
All right. So as you guys are kind of setting off down the as you guys are setting off down the tunnel and the cave system, it's let me check something real quick. You kind of hear Shushar. He uses a finger and scrapes a little bit of fungus off the wall and tastes it, and he says, I think Slubladop is perhaps 8 days worth of travel from here, if we make good pace.
That's quite the haul.
Do we have the supplies for 8 days? We have nothing.
Those
How will
supplies.
we find food?
Eldith says, she chimes in, she says, yeah, we don't have any supplies of any description, really, but if you want to travel, we're gonna have to forage for ourselves, find food and water for the journey as we move.
So we'll be eating a lot of fungus that I take.
She says, there's fungus down here, sometimes blind fish if you're lucky, lots of maggots and grubs too.
Tasty.
It's a little unpleasant at first, but it's what you gotta do if you want to survive.
And survive we shall.
Alright, so as you guys set off into the darkness, with Eldeth kind of using a little bit of her survival skill to help you guys stay on a relatively straight path, and Shushar kind of leading mostly by scent down the road into what you hope will take you eventually to the Dark Lake and on to the Salvation. As you leave the chaos and the cruel imprisonment that was the outpost of Velkenvelv, the Drow outpost, putting distance miles behind you, you can't help but wonder what will become of you as you delve through the Underdark and find exactly where your path leads. No doubt the Drow will not take kindly to you guys barging out of your cells and escaping amid causing chaos and this and that, so it's likely they will hunt you down as you travel, but you have apparently made some friends that have their own skills, and you have a destination in mind. And as you make your way into the darkness, I think that's probably where we're going to end it for tonight.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. A lot of fun.
It's a good ending point.
All right.
Indeed.
So, as always, thank you guys for hanging out. Before we kind of bounce out of here, just a little quick, I want to go around and say, what do you guys think so far? Like, what did you think of your characters, the way the way they're playing, and especially I know some of you saw some NPCs that you probably didn't expect. So
I thought it was all pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah,
how
I
everything
like
kind of played out.
I think this will be a fun sort of motley crew we've got going here, and I'll look forward to Aurelio getting to play more of his actual stuff.
Yeah, I
rather
really,
than to use his subpar punching ability.
I really enjoyed the opportunities that I got to play the character tonight. I think I did. I think he's going the way that I kind of expect him to. All, very charismatic and friendly and a little tricksy. He hasn't had the chance to do any trickery. There we go. Hasn't had a chance for much trickery just yet, but he'll get there. And I'm enjoying the NPCs a lot so far,
awesome.
especially the Prince and Shushar.
Yeah. Prince is great.
So hopefully you guys will, hopefully you had some fun, even though you were kind of deprived of your gear. That's what it's like to start a new campaign with all your stuff taken away. But you are now kind of in the Underdark on your own. You have your own wits about you, and you'll have to make something out of yourselves. So I think that'll probably be all we're gonna get done today. Make sure you guys, if you guys liked it, please keep it peeled here, because we will be doing more of Out of the Abyss in the upcoming weeks. Also, don't forget to tune in this Tuesday to the Fuzzy Dice Show, which is my Dungeon Masters talk show, which I do every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. This week I'm going to be hanging out with Jason. I totally brain farted on his name. Jason from the Too Cool for Tabletop podcast. It is a great podcast, and hopefully we'll have a good time talking. So, thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you guys for playing as always, and we will see you guys here next week. Take care.
Bye.
See you all later.
Oh, that was me.